Greetings, students, and welcome to Microsoft Excel, Introduction to Spreadsheets using Microsoft Excel. This course title is VBUS-262. That stands for Vocational Business Skills, something like that. Anyway, this course is being offered through Santa Ana College, the School of Continuing Education. It's a non-credit course. It's also a free course. This particular course that this video is being made for at this present time is for summer 2023. However, I may use this video in the fall if it covers all of the basics. So just know, depending on when you're watching this, it was originally recorded for summer 2023, but aside from the specific dates, most of the other content will be applicable to any other future semester, I suspect. I'm going to put on my blue light blocking glasses. That's anyway, I'll be wearing these. So I sleep better, and I think it's healthier. Okay, so we'll get right into it. I'll try not to make this video too long. I want it to be an introduction to this course, and I want you guys to be able to get the most out of it as quickly as possible. So if you want to pause it and rewind it to hear something that you missed, fine. I'll try to speak at a regular pace so that you can understand what I'm saying, but if you want to hear it more slowly, you can do that. Now, this video is being hosted on YouTube, which means you can speed up the video and you can slow it down. The other thing that you can do is turn on the captions. So there are subtitles available, so you can, and those are usually pretty accurate, okay? All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the very first contact that I make with students, and that is through something called the welcome email. Okay, so at this time, I'm bringing over a copy of the welcome email. Now, I have not sent it out yet. I just composed it, and I thought it's going to be part of this video, and so this is a good opportunity for me to proofread it before I actually send it out. So that's why I haven't sent it out yet. It's a good time for me to proofread it. Notice there's an attachment. No matter what email program you're using, you know, your attachment might appear at the bottom or somewhere else, but there is an attachment. The attachment is called Obtaining Office 365 for Students. So as a student of Centennial Education Center or the School of Continuing Education through Santa Ana College, you can download and install Microsoft Office 365, which means Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, maybe Publisher, and usually Outlook. Anyway, the only one we really need for this course is Excel, but if you don't have the other programs, you might as well download and install those as well. You can, you're free to use those. It's the full version of the programs, and you can use them even if you skip a semester here at this school, as long as you're enrolled, the way I understand it, every other semester, they'll allow you to keep using the software. That shows that you're still a student, technically a student. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing is, I want you to realize that there is something called an online version of Excel. And maybe I can show you that towards the end of this video. It's a web-based version of Excel, and we do not use that in this class. It is possible to use that for some of the simple projects we do in the beginning, but then as we get more advanced using the book and following the steps, you're not going to be able to use the online version of Excel. You need the full version of Excel, and it's for free, okay? I'm going to get into the email, and because that attachment is discussed in the email. You're receiving the welcome email. Oh, you know what? I noticed something that I need to change right now. There we go. So this particular video is for summer 2023, and this email is for summer 2023. So I just saw something I needed to correct. There'll probably be other things as well. So this is the welcome email for my students in the Excel class, specifically for summer 2023, but it's very similar from semester to semester. I send this out usually a few days before class starts to all enrolled students. So if you enroll at the last minute, or if you enroll after class starts, you may not get a welcome email. Instead, this content I'm going to put in Canvas. It will be on one of the first pages in Canvas. So you won't miss out on the information. But for those that are enrolled early, they're going to have access to the information early. Make sure that you add me to your safe contact list. So in your email program, make sure that I'm marked. Just add me as a contact. Put me in there in your address book, Teacher Alan G. That way you'll get all my emails, okay? Now, primarily, I think I'll probably be using Canvas to send messages to you once class starts. But you want to make sure you have both avenues of communication available. An email from me as a teacher at sac.edu, and messages that I might send through Canvas. So that way you'll be less likely to miss anything. As I didn't mention specifically, but this particular summer session starts Tuesday, May 30th. Monday is a holiday, it's Memorial Day. So the day after Memorial Day. So it's a short week, the first week. The good news is the first week of activity is going to be fairly light. In fact, for those of you that already know your way around the internet and you have some experience with Excel, it's going to be very, very easy for you. Even for those of you that don't know much at all about Canvas or Excel or the internet, it still won't take you that long to do the first week's worth of work. So if you are new to Canvas, there is a link here where you can, well, actually, it doesn't matter if you're new to Canvas or not, but there's a link here where you can learn about how to change your email address that Canvas uses, okay? And I think you can have 2 or more email addresses, and you can have a primary, and I know you can have a secondary, and that's really all you need. But you can set what your primary email address is in Canvas. So if I send you a message in Canvas, that message will be forwarded to your chosen email address in Canvas. Now, you might want to check that, just because it's quite possible that the default or the preferred email address in Canvas for you is related to your school email address, your Santa Ana College school email address. And a lot of students have that, but they don't use it. So you might want to switch that and make sure that the main email that you're going to use for this class is the one that's listed as your primary email address in Canvas. So that link will help you to learn about how to change that. It's pretty simple, but it's important. Okay, our class does not meet because it's purely online. However, there are deadlines, and you must turn in work every week to be considered an active student. So if you do not turn in the assignments the first week, I will drop you. I'm required to do that. I can only keep active students. The government gives the school money to help support active participating students. And if you don't submit work, you're not active or participating. And so it would be potentially fraudulent for us to keep you in the class. So I'm required to drop you. So on a weekly basis, you must submit this work through Canvas, not to my email address. As I mentioned, the course begins Tuesday, May 30th. This is the summer course for 2023. It's going to end Wednesday at 6 p.m., August 2nd. So you might see in some places where it might say the course ends August 5th. Well, that's technically the end of the semester, the summer semester. But I need a couple days to finish correcting your work, get and calculate your grades, make sure your grades are okay, and submit them. There are 2 holidays. They don't directly really affect us since this is totally asynchronous, meaning we are not synchronized with the clock or the calendar in in the same way that a class that meets in person is, or in the same way that a Zoom class is linked to the clock or to the calendar. Even so, these 2 holidays do occur during our semester. So this first one is June 19th. The name of the holiday is Juneteenth, and it has to do with, I believe it has to do with Abraham Lincoln's proclamation of freedom for slaves in this country. And this was during the Civil War, 1863, I think. I'm going to have to look that up. Independence Day has to do, that came a little bit earlier. That was independence from England. So July 4th is when that will be celebrated, Tuesday, July 4th. Participation in this class is entirely through Canvas. Of course, you can contact me through my email address, and I highly encourage you to do that. But you'll be learning in the form of tutorial videos, handouts, reading our free electronic textbook. You'll be participating in discussions and interacting with other students and with me on Canvas. And you'll be completing projects and submitting them on Canvas, and also completing quizzes on Canvas as well. So this email has a lot of information. You can go take a break and get a cold drink or a cup of coffee and read the rest of it later. Here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and go through it. What about due dates? Typically, due dates will be every Monday night at 11:59 p.m., just before midnight on Monday night. So in other words, just before Tuesday starts. So the only time that's going to be an issue is on that holiday called Juneteenth, okay, because that's a Monday holiday. So for that week, I will probably make the due date Tuesday. I'll just make the due date the next day. Okay. But otherwise, typically our due dates will be Monday night. Some classes will do it on Sundays, but I don't think that's right to ask students, to make them feel pressured to do homework on Sunday. That's not right to me. Okay, late assignments. Yes, I am now starting to implement a penalty for submission of late assignments. It's very, very small. It's 1% per day. What this means is, if the assignment is due Monday night and you don't get it submitted until Tuesday, or even 1 minute late, even if you're 1 minute late. But anyways, for every day you're late, it will be 1%. So if it's a perfect assignment and you otherwise would have achieved 100% grade, well, if it's 1 day late, the best grade you can get is 99%. So it's not a very strict penalty. Even if you were to submit it a week late, you can still get a 93%, which is still an A. So the only reason I'm doing this is because I think it will help. I think it will help students stay on track. And it's not a big penalty to where if you miss it, you're going to feel, oh, my grade is going down. No, it's a very small penalty. But what I found is when you ask people to pay even a very small amount, they feel it. And it helps when we feel a little bit of pain. It helps us to do the right thing, helps us to be directed to do the right thing. Goals for my first week. I already mentioned that I believe that it's going to be fairly easy for you to complete the first week's worth of work. But here, more specifically, you'll be focusing on something called the week 1 module. Okay, there's going to be 10 modules in this course because it's 10 weeks long. So each module is a collection of Canvas pages, and the week 1 module needs to be completed by the end of the first week. And in that module, you'll see there's going to be a section called course information. And so a lot of that is just understanding how to use Canvas, understanding the class and how it's going to be taught. So it's informational. It'll take you time and it will hurt your brain to read it, but nothing in that particular section is graded. But there is a discussion, and it's a very small grade that you get for that. A very, as long as you do an adequate participation with the discussion, you'll be fine. But there's a brief discussion you'll participate in. You're going to take a easy quiz. Why is it easy? Because I don't want to scare you off the first week. I want to build your confidence, right? So you come back. If you don't come back, I don't have a class. If I don't have a class, I don't have a paycheck. So we so we all help each other here, right? I have an incentive to provide you with a meaningful education, something meaningful to you. The other thing you'll do, so there'll be a discussion, a quiz, and both of those will help you get acclimated or comfortable with discussions and quizzes, because those will be weekly. We're going to have a weekly discussion. We're going to have a weekly quiz. It's like 5 questions. Okay. So I don't want you even to feel any pain after a while, because it will just be what you do. Yeah, I take a quiz every week with Excel. Big deal. I'm also going to have you submit a file in Canvas. Now, it's going to be a very, very simple, easy project. The main purpose with this exercise during the first week is to make sure you know how to submit a file in Canvas. Why? Because pretty much every week you're going to submit a file. You're going to submit a project. So I want to make sure you know how to do that the first week. That's where we're learning all the basics. The other thing is I want to give you time to download and install Excel if you don't have it. And if you tell me, oh, I was too busy with all the other work you gave me during week 1, I couldn't install Excel. It doesn't take long. It's super simple. I gave you an attachment that shows you the steps to do it. And maybe we can look at that in a minute. It's really a very simple process. The other thing you can do is download the ebook. Now, for the ebook, it's nice to have as a reference. I'm going to be giving you assignments directly from the ebook, but when I assign you a project, I will also cut out the section of the ebook for that assignment, and I'll put it on the assignment page. So technically, you don't have to download the ebook, but it might be kind of nice for you to have that entire PDF, the electronic textbook, as a PDF, a standalone document that you can go to and just reference. Okay, so I give you steps further down in the email how to do that. For those of you that know how to get to Canvas, all you're going to do is click this link. And depending upon when you receive this email, I don't know if you know what you'll see when you click the link. If the course is published, if it's available to you, then you'll be on the home page of the course and it'll be obvious. But you might get a message that says the instructor has not yet published the course. So what that means is you're trying to get to the Canvas course area before I've finished, getting it ready. I hope to have it ready. Again, this is summer 2023. So for this particular semester, I hope to have it ready Saturday, which is several days before class starts. Anyway, it's a few days before class starts. But if it's not ready for some reason, then now you know why. There's a little message here on a couple of links on how to log into Canvas if you're not sure, if you're not accustomed to that. But many of you are. Many of you have been students at Santa Ana College or the School of Continuing Education. If you log into Canvas from the main school area, not using my link, but through the school's webpage, that's fine. You can do it that way too. If you just go to Santa Ana College, I think it's sac.edu, sac.edu. You just go to that website, you'll see there's a link for Canvas. So you can get to Canvas that way too. If you go that direction, what you're going to see is the Canvas dashboard. And you'll see, most likely you'll see different colored course cards, depending on how many courses you're enrolled in. Now, what I have displayed here are courses I'm teaching during the summer. At least the first 5 I'm teaching during the summer. So our course is the green one with the yellow letters, Microsoft Excel, VBUS-262, but I'm also teaching Access QuickBooks in accounting terminology. The business terminology course is not yet available. That might be available in the fall. There is no textbook purchase required. It's free. And here's where the steps are for downloading it. There's a link here. I just tested it a few minutes ago and it works fine. And so you can download that. That will just take you a couple of minutes. I mean, really, just a couple of minutes. Then there's a message here about the Excel software. And I insist in this message, you see the highlighted text. I'm insisting on you using the full version of Excel. Students that may not know any better find themselves on the web-based version of Excel. And you won't be able to follow the steps from the book. The steps will be a little different. You'll be looking for the tools that you need and they won't be there. The Excel-based version, the web-based version has some good, useful tools, but it's pretty basic. So you need the full version and it's free. So, and I mentioned again that PDF. In fact, we'll look at that PDF. In fact, let's look at it right now, because that's pretty much the entire email. I'm going to go ahead and preview that attachment. See how this comes out. It's going to be super small, but maybe it will still be legible the way I'm trying to display it. I don't see anything yet. Let me make this bigger. Okay, I'm going to try it again, preview. Okay, this time I'm going to download it. This may have something to do with the fact that I'm not working with a full screen, or the email hasn't been sent yet. Let me go ahead and. It's really strange. I was just looking at it earlier. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording for a moment and solve this. Okay, I'm displaying that attachment now. Yes, I was having difficulty because of the way that I was trying to use that draft. And so anyway, the attachment will be fine for you, and it was fine for you if you already received the welcome email. Anyway, I just wanted to show it because I wanted you to see that this is not an extensively long process. There's 5 basic steps, and I have a link for you. I show you the image that you'll see, or the approximate image. It will be something like that after you click that link, and that you'll click the sign in button, and then you'll click this button, and then you'll click this. And so that whole process is very quick and easy. So that's the process to go through to download and install Microsoft Office 365. Okay, so that was the handout that's attached to the welcome email. I'm going to scroll down now, and I'd like to go over to Canvas. And I'm going to click that link to go to Canvas. And this is how it opens up. Now, like I said, I'm able to get directly into it, even though I haven't published it yet, because I'm the author. And so that's why I can get there. But once it's published, that is what should happen for you. You should be able to click that link and it should take you to this home page. Now, I'm only showing a half screen here. I want to show you this. Here's my full screen, right? Or, this is pretty close to my full screen. So that's why the window looks a little narrow, but I'm going to open it up a little wider and you'll see the menu appears here. And then let's see if I open up wider than that, what else happens? Okay, right there, I get another group of buttons that appears. So Canvas is a lot like other programs, which modify, the, they modify their own appearance based on how large your window is. So if you can't see what you're looking for, then usually go full screen or make the window at least a little larger. I'm going to put this in the student view so that it looks similar to how it should look for you. Okay, so it just changed a little bit. And let me just change a couple things here. I already see something that's kind of funny here. So I get to see it the way you're going to see it, and I already see something I need to fix eventually. I see this week 12 end of course survey. Well, we're not going to have a 12th week, and it shouldn't be showing on the to-do list. The only thing that you're going to see on the to-do list should be a quiz, a discussion, and an assignment submission, the three things that I mentioned that would be due the first week. So we'll look at that in a few moments. I'm going to focus, though, on the left side of the screen. You can see at this time there are only 4 menu items: home, syllabus, modules, and grades. Eventually, once I start sending announcements, you're going to see announcements as one of the menu items. So that's my way of just communicating with the class as a whole. That announcement should get sent to your email program, but then if you miss it for some reason, you should always be able to come to Canvas, go to the announcements menu item, and see all the recent announcements. Now, you don't see any announcement menu item there now because I haven't created any. So once I create an announcement, that will appear there. This menu can disappear by using the hamburger button on the top left, and it can come back when you want it to. Okay, so that helps with screen space. We'll take a quick look at, I'm going to focus in on the content on the home page here. See if there's anything that I haven't mentioned yet. My name, I never really mentioned my name, Alan Goth here. I did mention about the fact that we'd had 10 modules and each week is a module. Week 1 is a little funny because it's divided up into 2 sections: the course information part and then the Excel basic instruction part. So week 1 has 2 sections within it. And we'll look at week 1 in a minute. You might want to look at the student resources module when you get a chance. Just if you're a new student to Santa Ana College, you might be able to learn things. Before we look at the week 1 module, I think I want to look at the syllabus. There's some other helpful links down here. I'm going to click on the syllabus. Now, there's also a link to the syllabus up in the course menu area, top left, right? So I can get there either way, same page. And this should be mostly accurate. I just updated it. So you can download this separately if you want. It's a PDF. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, sorry about the delay there. Just trying to get a better view for you. And we'll have to just accept this view. Okay, so there's 6 pages, but don't get scared about that. It's just most of what we've already talked about so far. This is the syllabus for the summer 2023 section. There are no class meetings. I'm not going to repeat things. How about that? My link or my email address is there. With the dates, start dates, end dates. You don't really need to have any, technically, there are no prerequisites for this course, but if you are somewhat familiar with Microsoft Word, that should be really useful. If you're familiar with PowerPoint or Publisher, then that will be really useful too, because Excel is set up very similarly to those programs. You should definitely have some basic computer knowledge. Otherwise, this is going to be way too hard for you. So if you're a basic computer user, forget it. Well, I mean, you could try it, but you're better off enrolling in computer basics or internet or even Microsoft Word if you're a new computer user. But Excel is usually done after Word because it is more complicated. It is an introductory course in Excel. However, if you learn the skills and the tools that I'm going to show you in this course, and you learn how to use them well, you will be considered intermediate to advanced in any workplace or in most workplace situations. Most people only use a very small portion of Excel, and they think that they're Excel users or that they're really, proficient. Most people, in office situations don't really use Excel that extensively. So if you really learn this information, you can be a great asset to any workplace situation. The textbook, as I said, is free. Here's another, this is another place where you can download it. The steps are the same. It's the same book. Attendance. Well, this class doesn't meet on Zoom. It doesn't meet in person. So how do you participate? How do you show your attendance? By submitting work on a regular basis every week. If you don't submit work on a regular basis every week, you will be dropped. With or without warning. I may not give you a warning, especially if it's, 2 weeks. But just know that at the very beginning of the semester, I have to be very strict. So definitely participate the first week, or you will probably get dropped. Late policy we talked about. Grading scale. If your overall score, percentage score at the end of the course is 70% or greater, then you will complete the course and you will get a certificate of achievement for completing the course. So 70 is the cutoff. What I found is all students who honestly work on the material and submit it on a regular basis and who seem to want to pass the course, they do. Even the people that don't know Excel that well, as long as they work on it, regularly on a weekly basis. Those who do not are the ones that don't work on a regular basis. Notice I didn't say those who don't pass are the ones who don't have much Excel experience. That's not true. I don't think it has much to do with Excel experience. I think it has to do with, your interest. Are you really interested in passing the course? And, can you manage your time and submit the work regularly? If so, I think you'll pass the course. I don't think that'll be a problem. Now, obviously, for those students that know Excel a little bit better or a little bit more than others, well, okay, they're going to spend a little less time doing the work, right? But your intention, I think, is the most important thing. Okay, the final page of the syllabus is where it talks about certificates. I already mentioned certificate of completion. I sometimes give out a certificate of participation for students that just missed the 70%, just to make them feel like they've earned something. Because actually everyone that honestly works on this material, that's something to be proud of. So that's the certificate of participation. If you score between, I think, 60 and 69. There's state certificates. Some of you know what that is. Digital badges, state certificate. There's a couple of links there if you want to learn more about those. That's for when you take a group of courses. You can get a special certificate for that. A group of courses from Santa Ana College. If you are a student who can benefit from the Disabled Student Programs and Services Department, if you need some kind of special accommodations, of course, this is online. This is an online course, but maybe they can help. There's a room number, a phone number, an email address. In terms of cheating and being academically honest, you must submit your own work, okay? If I detect that you have submitted someone else's work, then both you and that other person will be dropped from the course. That's pretty much, well, I might contact you first and say, what's up? But you'll probably be dropped from the course, and you might be, if I fill out the paperwork, you might be dropped from the school. So just don't do that. Do your own work. Never submit somebody else's work. Never. Even if they just do a little bit of it for you and give it to you and then say, hey, here you go. There you go. You can finish it. No, just do it yourself. And if you can't do it yourself, then that means that you need a little more training, right? That's the truth. Don't deny the truth. Don't submit someone else's work. That's not the truth. Student services, this is general student services here. And I had a couple of those links also in one other place. In my, is it the welcome email? Oh, no, that was on the homepage. At the very end of the syllabus, there's this section for recommended prerequisite concepts and skills. Here's a list of skills that you really should know going into an Excel class. And guaranteed, probably most people don't know these skills, most of you students out there. Some of them are real simple: open, save, save as, print, undo, redo. But I recommend, these keyboard shortcuts. There's about 15 there, I guess. How to use the right-click menu, how to select, how to format font, use the mini toolbar, so on and so forth. So if you find that you're having difficulty in this class, it might be that you're not having difficulty with Excel, you're having difficulty with using computers, basic computer use, or basic Microsoft application use, right? Because the skills that you use in Microsoft Word are very similar to Excel. So don't blame it on Excel if you're having a tough time and you don't know how to properly use the mini toolbar or how to properly set up your page, okay? Now, I will say this, when it comes to setting up the page, how you do that in Microsoft Word and how you do that in Excel is slightly different, but it's mostly very similar. Okay, so there are some specific differences for all of these things, or for many of these things. Okay, so you can look at that list at your leisure. And so I'm going to go back to the course menu, back to the home page. We looked at the home page, we looked at the welcome email, we looked at the syllabus. So those are three very important pages of information: welcome email, syllabus, and the home page for Canvas. But now I want to jump into the first module. So I clicked on the link for modules, and I'm going to collapse all the modules. There's this, on the far right, there's the expand all and the collapse all buttons. Okay. And I'm also going to collapse that home menu. That course menu. When you collapse all of the modules, and when you first log in the first week, you'll probably only see 2 modules. So I'm only going to be releasing 1 module at a time. When we get towards the end of the course, I'll start giving you a couple modules at a time, just in case there's students that want to work ahead. But in the beginning, I'm going to just feed you 1 module per week. The student resource module is there. You can look look up that information when you get the chance. But the week 1 module is what we're going to look at now. What I want to bring to your attention is that this gray bar at the top is the section bar for the week 1 module. But then there's a division where it says week 1, part 1, course information, and then a little bit lower, week 1, part 2, Excel basics. So there's about 15 pages right there. Now, we're going to flip through them fairly quickly. First one, objectives. This is something we're required to put in our course modules. I'm sure not many students use this objective page, but it gives you an idea of what to expect every week. So take a minute, even if it's only a minute, to see what you're going to learn this week. Okay, I'm going to learn about the course information, the contact page, discussion, course and etiquette. Okay, I'm going to learn about Excel basics. What kind of things? Mouse, keyboard. Okay, so spend a minute just looking at that. I'm going to go to the next page of this module. So that's like an outline of what to expect. There'll be a page there for Welcome to Excel. Now, I haven't updated this yet because I'm making the video, which is going to be on this page. Anyway, but there'll be a Welcome to Excel page, and it's going to say summer 2023 for summer. It's going to say fall 2023 for fall. And it's going to tell you what you should do. You should watch this video, right? Well, you must have already read this page if you're watching the video. The video that's currently there is an older video, and I'm going to replace it with this one. It says what you should do next. Well, some of this we already looked at, the syllabus, but you should maybe flip through, like I am right now in the video, flip through the week 1 module, go to the grades area, take a look. Okay. So, scan through that page. It's really not much for you to do. There's the next page. I'm just paging through one page at a time so I don't miss anything. I recommend that's how you do it as well. The instructor contact page is, clicked a link for QuickBooks right there. So instructor contact page, a little bio about me, and my email address is there. By the way, it's Gauthier_Allen. So there's obviously no space between my last name and my first name. There's an underscore there, an underline, right? Okay. So I'm gonna, and by the way, sending me an email is the fastest way to get a hold of me. You can send an email, a message through the Canvas inbox, which is right over here on the left. And you can also message in the grades area. But this is what I want to warn you. If you put a message to me in the grades area, like teacher, I don't like the grade you gave me. Why did you give me this grade? I'll always explain why. If I reduce points, I always tell you why. But anyways, let's say you put a comment there. I may not get that for a day or two. So if it's important, email me. If it's just something that's not important, then you could put a message in the grades area. But email or the inbox otherwise are the best ways to get a hold of me. There is a page here called General Course Questions. I think I might eventually remove this because nobody ever uses it. But if you have a question, usually people just email me and ask me, but I don't know, it's there. So if you want to post a question, someone else can answer it. Just because no one's used it yet doesn't mean it's not valuable. It might be that I'm busy on a weekend and someone's working late at night and has a question, they post a question, someone else happens to be working too, and they answer it. So it's worth a try. I'm going to page past that general question page. And then this is funny. There's a page called course syllabus, right? We already looked at it, but I think the reason why they had us put this link here in sequence so that students don't miss the syllabus. Well, we already looked at it, so I'm going to hit next. There's this page called course policies. They wanted us to put this in here. I think most of the information here is included in the syllabus and in the welcome email, but you can scan through it. If you don't show up, I'm going to drop you. If you're not participating, I'm going to drop you. Don't use anyone's work or submit anyone's work but your own. Okay, what else? Okay, actually, this part I'll have to correct because it says that I am not deducting points. I am deducting points for late assignments, for late work. So I do need to correct that. The rest of it's all what we've talked about. Yeah, it's a lot of repeated information. Unfortunately, in the school's effort to make sure that you get the information, they kind of have us give it to you 3 times or 4 times. So the danger there is, you know, you get so much information, it's just it's overwhelming, right? Or you think it's not important because it's everywhere. There are a couple of, is there anything important here? Yeah, there actually is something useful here. Under Canvas support, if you're having difficulty with the Canvas program, right, not the course, but just using the Canvas software, they do have a 24-hour hotline, a phone number, and you can get support, and that's on the bottom of this page. You can also find that in a couple other places. I think it's on the home page in my on the home page of this course. I'm going to bypass. I'm going to go to the next page of this module. Okay, so here's where we have just some standard features for those who are new to Canvas. This is like a 3-minute video that explains how Canvas is set up and how it works. So those of you that are new to Canvas, make sure you do this. Remember, the work during the first week is going to be light, very light, because I'm assuming I want to give you time to, the new students, I want to give them time to do this work. So the advanced students get a little break, or I should say the students that are already familiar with Canvas, they get a little bit of a break. They don't have to watch this video. But if you're new to Canvas, definitely this is the time to do it during the first week. Then there's another page. I went in advanced to the next page, and this next page is about customizing your Canvas settings. I don't think you really do need to customize your notifications. I think the default settings are fine. Maybe someone can let me know about that, but I don't think you need to change them. But they show you how you can change your notifications. It's like a 2-minute video, 3-minute video. And then if you want to put up a profile picture, even if you just put up a picture of your dog for your Canvas picture, you can, now this could be very useful to you. Download the Canvas mobile app from either the iTunes, or they call it the Apple Store, or the Android store. That way, if you're waiting at the doctor's office and you want to get something done, you could maybe participate in a discussion, or maybe if you've already read the material for the week, you could take the quick quiz, and feel like you got something done while you're just standing in line or waiting for your name to be called. So I have that installed on my phone. I'm going to go to the next page. We're still in the course information area. So that's why it's all this general information. This next page is on course netiquette, which the word netiquette is a combination between internet and etiquette, basically how to behave on the internet, right? So you'll see things like you're going to be respectful, and let's see, you're going to think through what your comments before you post them. You're going to be a good person, right? Imagine that. You, a good person. Yes, you're going to be a good person. Oh, I just saw this for the first time because I never really read it. It says, don't demean or embarrass others. Do not make sexist, racist, homophobic, or victim blaming comments. I should rewrite that. This is a standard, page, but I don't like the way that reads. I don't think it's very clear. But I think you get the basic idea. Just be nice. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and we're still in the course information area, so that's why it's still generic information. This is the third time we're seeing information about academic honesty, and so you already know all about that. And then here's another page on accommodations for students with disabilities or those who might need some support. Okay, actually, that's good that we have additional pages like that about that topic in case somebody missed something. Oh, this is a great page. I'm so glad I made this one. So I think this is where we start with the Excel information. This is called Using Excel Desktop, not Excel Online. Let me see where this falls in the midst of all those pages in week one. By the way, I'm looking at the clock and it looks like this video has been an hour. But I think if you watch this video and take in the information, it will make the whole course. You'll save much more than an hour throughout the rest of the course, honestly. It will make it less painful to you. So let's see, we went through all these pages. Netiquette, academic honesties. Oh, this page isn't considered part of the instruction. It's considered informational. Okay, we'll go back to it. So we're not into the Excel basics yet. But this page just describes the difference between Excel Desktop, which is what we're going to be using, and the Excel Online version. So let's look at these two images and see if you can, I want you to look at this page more carefully yourself. But I just want to point out a couple of things. The top image, okay, so you can see everything now. The top image is Excel Online. We're not using that one. How can you tell it's Excel Online? Well, let me zoom in now. Because it opened up in a browser tab. Notice that it's the Excel, it looks like the Excel program, but it's simply just another tab in your internet browser. That's one clue. That's actually the main clue. And I probably wrote some other important things there. Let's look at the desktop one. Here's an image of the desktop version. This is different. In fact, there's no green color in this one at all on the top ribbon. Oh, with the other one, I want to point something else out. This area looks funny. It looks like a web page here. And then with the Excel desktop, you have the save buttons, which you don't have in the online version. The toolbar is much more. There's more tabs. And then the ribbon area is much more extensive or comprehensive. Anyways, read that page. And on this page, I do have that flyer, another copy of that flyer, how to get the desktop version of Excel 365. So I don't need to explain that in great detail, but if I tell you, hey, your work was pretty good, your homework you submitted was pretty good, but I can see that you're probably using the online version because you're missing things, or you seem to be having difficulty with things and you're not able to follow the steps, I think you're probably using the online version. That's what it sounds like to me. Therefore, you should read this page and learn how to download and install the real version, the full version, the desktop version, okay? So I usually have to tell 2 or 3 students that each semester. Okay, so now we're going to page through to the next page. Now we're in the Excel basics area where it's talking about the week 1 project. Now, I haven't updated the dates yet, the due dates and all that. So I can tell you right now that those are not going to be correct. The first project is going to be super simple. I'm going to have you create this kind of a spreadsheet. I want you to use those numbers and I want you to use those items. Does it have to look 100% like this? Well, no, because some of you don't know how to use Excel and you don't know how to make it look like that. And I'm not going to tell you how to do that at this point. The purpose of this first project is very, very simple. It's going to allow me to see if, what kind of skills you have as you try to create this. And you don't have to use Excel if you don't have Excel during the first week. You can create this kind of a thing in Word or in some other program. Okay, so the pressure is very low for this. Pretty much everyone that creates this in some program and submits it gets credit, gets full credit. Okay. And so I deliberately make this first project a real starter, a beginning kind of a project. Now, for those of you that are more advanced, you might be like, oh no, I wanted to get to the good stuff, the more interesting Excel stuff. You're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there soon, but we're going to build. It's going to take a couple weeks. In fact, actually, most likely, I would say by the second or third week, even students that think they're advanced will be able to learn something significant. Because you might know 50, 60, 70% of what I'm sharing, but there'll be things, oh, I didn't know that. And it's like one little piece of the puzzle that you didn't know. You knew 90% of it. Here's this one piece that puts it together for you, and it can really make you more productive. So this first one's the travel budget worksheet, which you will submit. What else are you going to do this first week? I already mentioned the discussion. You're going to read a couple of handouts that have some Excel information. You're going to submit this travel budget assignment, and you're going to take a quiz. So there's only 3 graded things. Obviously, I don't grade you on the reading of the lesson pages. So I'm going to hit next. The first thing that you're going to see is the discussion, and the date that it's due is, oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me leave the student view. I'm in the student view. That's why I didn't see the discussion. I haven't set the date yet for it, so that's why it didn't show up. So here's the discussion, the benefits and drawbacks of online learning. You're going to reply 3 or 4 meaningful sentences. I want to see a little thought involved. If you don't have a creative or interesting idea to share in any of these discussions, share something, but then you can also respond to something another student said, and in a meaningful way. Don't just say, oh, good job. That's not helpful to the discussion. It's not helpful to your points. Let's put it that way. You're not going to get points that way. So you'll get, anywhere between 3 and 5 points. Unless it's really horrible, I'm not going to give you less than 3, but it needs to be reasonable to get 5. I'm not saying you write a article, just a few sentences that communicate something meaningful in a meaningful way. So you click this reply bar and you write in your response, okay? And you can also reply to other students, particularly, like I said, if you think that your initial reply might be a little weak, you can reply to other students, and I'll consider that, and bump up your score. Make sure you get the full points. So you should get the full 5 points on every discussion. If you don't, it's only your own fault, because you can always resubmit. Okay. Same thing with all the projects. You can resubmit. If I reduce your grade, saying that you're missing several things, you can resubmit. Don't worry about the late penalty at that point. When you resubmit something, I'm not going to, remove points for late submission, or I won't remove extra points. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page after the discussion. So here's one of the handouts, Excel lesson 1 of 3, foundational Excel concepts. So this first handout, page 1 of 3, talks about row and height, column width, how to navigate uh, your, not your cursor, but what we call the focus, or the green selection box. You know, in Excel, you have a green selection box that you can click on any cell and modify things or add information. And so this talks about that. So there's really this very first page, there's only a few topics: how to clear cells, how to delete them, and the difference between clearing and deleting. There is a difference. Font sizes, and how when we work with font sizes in Excel, it's a little different than Microsoft Word. Second lesson gets into talking about viewing a spreadsheet, and then working with multiple sheets, or working with multiple sheets, I would say. And then a section on the Excel ribbon. And there's actually, I think now, more than 7 tabs. I think there might be 8, but these are the main tabs. But I give you percentages in terms of where you should be spending most of your time, okay? Because it can be overwhelming. You see all these different toolbar areas that you can be in. Where do I need to be most of the time? Well, the home ribbon, 85% of the time. What's second place? Well, guess what? The one that's right next to it is pretty much second place, insert. But look, it's a distant second, 5%. The next one is page layout, maybe 5%. Maybe 5% of the time you need to be there, like before you print, perhaps. And formulas, look at that, 1%, data, 1%, review, view. So I explain later in the course why I put the home ribbon as the main place for you, because, well, I'll talk about that later in the course. But hopefully just knowing that is going to be a little bit liberating for you to realize, oh, I don't have to know all of those ribbon tabs, because who could? Why would you when you don't need to? Okay, page 3 of 3, cells, columns, rows, functions. So now this handout or this page is talking about editing cell data different ways, working with rows and columns, and then entering simple functions. All 3 of these handouts are super short, but the information is very, very, very good. So some of you might just think, oh, because it's so condensed, it's not important, right? That means it's simple and it's not important. No, actually, it's just the opposite. Because it's so condensed, I've only included the most important information, critical. And because it's so short, everyone should look at it. Even the advanced students will learn something from those 3 handouts. If you don't, it will come back to haunt you. There'll be some step where you'll get marked off because you didn't understand something that was taught during week 1, right? All right, so after those 3 pages, we have instructions on how to submit a file in Canvas. Pretty simple, really detailed explanation on how to do it. If you've done it before, if you've been in a Canvas course before where you've submitted files, well, there's nothing really new, okay? But if you're new to Canvas, that information's for you. And then finally, I get to the project page. And we previewed it earlier. We kind of had a preview of it, but this is the actual assignment, okay? So assignment instructions, okay? The purpose of this assignment is real simple. I want you to be able to submit a file in Canvas, and it will show me how much you already know about the basics of working with Excel, or just the basics of working with simple information like this. I tell you, you can use Excel to do this, Word, WordPad, right? I don't care. If you have Excel, use Excel. And I want you to use the information that I've given you. Some people get all creative here. Actually, what helps me more is if you're not creative at all at this point, if you do exactly what's asked of you, because then I know that you know how to do it. If you give me something that's very different, then I'm left wondering, first of all, who did that project and why is it so different from what I asked for? So really, I know some of you want to be creative. You want to create your own travel budget. That will be a different exercise. Maybe we can make that a bonus exercise. Yeah, maybe for the final week or something, I'll have a bonus exercise. You make something creative, but the projects otherwise need to be made as the assignment asks you to, because how else am I going to know if you know how to do these specific skills that I'm trying to teach? So that's a really brief exercise. In the dates, as I said, oh, wait a minute. It's probably not that far off, actually. It says due June 6th. Could that be correct? Actually, I think it's going to be June 5th. Yeah, the available date is definitely wrong. Anyways, I'll fix those dates. It's going to be due a week. You'll have 6 days, I think. The quiz, okay, the dates for the quiz are not set yet. Just show you the instructions for this. So this will be every week. You'll have a quiz, 15 points. And this is going to be based on the 3 lesson pages. So it's good that you read those 3 lesson pages because the information from those pages are going to be on the quiz. Perfect. This actually helps you because I know you really want to read those handout pages. You want to know that information. So guess what? It's on the quiz. This will help you to feel like you need to read it, and it will help you to remember it. Okay, so I'm doing this for you. Okay, so this checkup quiz, 5 questions, and guess what? You can take the quiz as many times as you want until you get 100%. I really want to see you get 100%. What does that do for me and you? Well, most importantly for you, and it bolsters your grade, gives you a very good, average in the course. That's not the most important thing. More important than that is it ensures that you know the answers to those questions about Excel that was taught during this week. And that's the whole point of this course, isn't it? So I think you'll like these quizzes because you can take them a second time, a third time, until you get your score up to 100. Maybe you'll get 100 the first time you take it. And there's no time limit for taking these quizzes. Some quizzes in some of my classes, I give a 15-minute well, if it was 5 questions, if I was going to give you a time limit, I would probably give you, 10 minutes at the most. But there's no time limit here. There's matching questions, multiple choice, true and false. Always choose the best answer. Okay. Let me see what it says about feedback. Well, let's see. I don't think you're going to see the correct answers. I think you're going to know how many you got wrong. So when you submit it, if it's not 100%, it's going to say you missed one, your percentage is, whatever, 80% or something. And so I don't think it will tell you which one you got wrong because that would be too easy. I don't want to make it too easy for you. Okay, let's see what else is coming up. Oh, okay, so this is the last page of the week 1 module, week 1 objectives reviewed. You remember this was the first page, or the first page of the week 1 module was similar to this, where we had our objectives for the week. Well, now this is the same objectives in a summary kind of explanation. What you learned this week, you learned these things. How to contact me, a general discussion board, netiquette, academic honesty. And then in part 2 of the module, you learned about using sheets, and you learned about commands on the ribbon tabs and columns and rows, basic functions, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's the last page of the module. Let's see, there might be a conclusion page. Yeah, so here's the conclusion page. Congratulations, if you've completed all the requirements, you know, you can go to the grades area, you can go home. If you hit the next button after the week 1 completion, let's see what we get. Okay. If you get the Canvas technical help and support page, that means that the week 2 module is not available yet. Okay, so, but if you hit next and you see week 2, then obviously you can start on week 2. Obviously, another way to get to week 2 module or any module is to go to the course menu and click modules. And if I collapse week 1, I see there's only 2 modules available at this present time. Okay, well, thank you for your time. This video almost went an hour and a half. So hopefully you took a break halfway through. But like I said in the middle of the video, a short while ago, by you understanding some of these basic things I'm going over about how I'm teaching the course and what's expected of you, this 90 minutes that you invested in watching this video will save you so much more time throughout the rest of the course, much more than 90 minutes, and it will save you in terms of anxiety or stress. Okay, honestly, I really believe that. I'm not just saying that. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.